All right, guys, this is why I feel like I'm staring down the barrel of failure at 33. And maybe some of you can relate. I just want you to know you're not alone. Your 30s, late 20s, early 40s, you feel lost. You feel like you messed it all up. You don't like where you're at. Maybe you're going through a big setback. I'm going to show you where I'm at, but also where I'm trying to go. So let me rewind a little bit. I was born to a 16-year-old mom. Poor gal. Took her a couple years, but she figured out she couldn't raise me. My dad ended up taking me back in. He's a great guy, a little older. Started a business when he was 18. Ended up doing okay. He had a lot of kids. Got married. My mom, God bless her, taking me in. Life was pretty chaotic, but we had a lot of fun. I got to do, rodeo. We had animals. Went hunting, fishing, dirt bikes, all the sports. A lot of work on the weekends, pouring concrete, building houses. Made me tough, gave me a little bit of that entrepreneurial bug. And like many kids who grew up in a small town, as I did okay in school, did pretty well, did all right in sports, I really wanted to get the heck out of that town. And so I got a couple scholarships because my parents weren't willing to pay. And thank you, parents, because that was the best thing you ever did for me. I can't tell you how many friends I watched just blow a bunch of money or get into a bunch of debt in college because they were just messing around. They didn't have any stake in the game. I moved to LA, pretty much full ride. Had to sublet my apartment like 5 ways to afford it because LA is really expensive. Worked almost full time at security, but life was so good. I was killing it in class, on track to graduate, a little behind because of the work hours I was pulling. So probably would have been more of like a 4.5 year grad plan. Changed my major a few times. People do. But I was loving life. I had a car. I'd go surf on the weekends, go clubbing. Lots of girls, obviously, in college, getting into a little bit of trouble here and there. Eventually got out of a really bad relationship. That was like one of my first big heartbreaks. Serious relationship, great girl, just wasn't working out. Not too long after that, though, I met a beautiful person in a parking lot. I'm trying to break into someone's car, and I was working security. It was a great way to meet. And after that night, me and her were pretty much inseparable. She was coming out of a bad thing too, and there was just fireworks. Fast forward about 6 months from there, she decided she's going to stay the summer, and we're going to get kind of serious potentially. And we find out she's pregnant. So there I am, 3.5 years in. I really don't want to have a kid in LA. Didn't want to have a kid in LA hospital, that's for sure. Figured I, wanted to be a good man. Maybe a little bit of that abandonment trauma kicked in too from my childhood, and I definitely didn't want to replicate that. So I called my family, decided to move back home. Dad's business was doing really well. He was looking for someone to maybe take it over at some point. So I went back and went to work, and the girl ended up following me about 6 months later, convinced me to get married. We had our first kid. It was amazing. Got our own place. Didn't love being in the small town. She definitely hated it. She was a big city girl, but we made it work. We ended up having another kid basically right out the gate too. So we had 2 boys, back to back. And I ended up kind of going my own way, trying to start a couple businesses, starting to work in tech, moved to Colorado, made a little bit of money, but not enough to pay the bills with the side hustles. And eventually I started a bar at like 22, 23 years old. Pulled, all the strings to get this thing started. And I got to be honest, man, it was pretty awesome for a while. Bought a house, old home, total fixer, fixed it up from the studs. The business is going pretty well 2-3 years in. Everybody knows you because you got a lot of customers, and brick and mortar, there's just something special about it. I will say, after having some e-com businesses and then having brick and mortar, although it is a lot more work. I was working the tech job during the day. I was working the bar at night. Eventually was able to hire some help, but it was a whirlwind. And, the marriage and the kids probably fell a little bit to the wayside during the hustle years. We fast forward, survived COVID, So life's really high. Things are good. Came over some setbacks. COVID happens. Damn near bankrolls us. We survive it. Amazing real estate downtown. I decide, heck, let's go all in. I'm tired of working the 9 to 5 and doing the business. So I found some amazing real estate downtown, just got remodeled, redesigned, merged a couple buildings together. Unfortunately, the architect there messed something up, couldn't pass fire code, had to go through a lengthy legal battle, ended up losing the space that I was in, and I couldn't take possession of the new space, and I had to go to court to fight to get out of the lease all at once on my best business year I've ever had. And it was devastating. I was pissed. Decided, I don't know why we're in Colorado. I don't need to be here anymore. We don't have a bar. I'm working remotely. Let's go somewhere warm. I don't like the snow. I'm more of a beach guy. And so we ended up moving to Florida, which again, that setback turned into something great. In my opinion, I love being where I'm at now, not that far from the beach. Weather's beautiful. And I got into AI for a bit, which there's a lot of money in AI, if you guys don't know. So I was doing really well. We built a house. Kids are getting older, nice school, cul-de-sac, gated neighborhood. Life's good. Recovered from that first, second setback. And then I get laid off, like way faster too than I've ever, I've never had a short tenure like that. And I find out my marriage is basically over within the same 2 weeks. Won't go into any details there. And I struggled for a little bit, guys. I'm not gonna lie. Even if you feel like you're doing everything right, you can still end up right here, feeling like a failure, feeling like there's no light at the end of the tunnel, or you're stuck where you're at, or maybe this setback is gonna change your trajectory and it's gonna break you. But luckily, I've been through so many of these setbacks, and maybe you have too, and maybe you're just forgetting. But I can promise I'm making the decision. And maybe you thought this was the part of the video where I whip out the Lambo and I screenshot my amazing e-com businesses that I started, and it's not. This is a come up. I follow a lot of guys who are on the other side. You guys probably do too, of success. I'm not there yet, guys, but I can promise you, all you got to do is get back up. All you got to do is one more rep. Sometimes those setbacks launch you in a new direction, in a better direction. And for me, maybe you guys are coming out of a relationship or a job that you thought was the ticket. Those can be the greatest opportunities for personal growth, for changing the path. And for me, believer, I think God's involved ultimately, but I was giving so much. Maybe you were too, to everybody else. And I wasn't doing anything for me. And in a lot of ways, that limited who I could be and how I could show up for everyone else. So I was being selfish in my selflessness. And right now I have an opportunity. I'm not sure exactly how, but just making the decision today to change your life for the better, to use all this negative energy and turn it into action for the positive. And so that's what this channel's about. I've thought about doing a channel for years. I'm doing one. Maybe this is, the start of something new. Maybe it's just a test run, but I'm excited to be here. And my goal is to help encourage and maybe guide some people who are lost. I'll show you how I do it one day at a time from the ground up, and we'll see where we end. And so anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'll hopefully be back tomorrow. I'm going to try to do daily uploads for a while just to get the muscle worked, and they're going to be terrible, but you need to start. Everything good I've ever done is because I started, and everything bad that I regret is because I didn't. So even if it's hard, and even if you feel like you're broke, you have nowhere to go but up. So let's take that journey together, and I'll see you tomorrow. Signing out.